Hey everybody, it's your boy Ben back here at Rye Field Studios, coming at you with a mix fix today. This is my first attempt at a mix fix in the in the little bunker studio here. So tune in. Today we're going to be getting into some metal guitars and mixing them up, making them sound big and massive in a mix here. So check it out. All right, guys, welcome. Yeah, like I said, this is sort of the first mix fix I'm doing here in the room. So I thought I'd keep things easy and just do one of my favorite things, man, and that's just playing with fucking guitar, man. Playing metal guitar and stuff. So yeah, I got a little chunk of song here I'll show you guys. It's just a demo track I made up for the boys. You'll see I named it Sludge Unholy. That's just, unholy for the band, and sludge because it's got like a nice slow kind of dark crowbar feel mix, right? Or sort of sound, sort of vibe, right? So we're going to try to make sure we get that in the mix. So here is the chunk of audio, or a chunk of song that we're going to be working with. All right. All right, you guys get the idea. Pretty cool, pretty heavy. That's with everything turned on there. So, to show you what I do here, I'm going to start by just turning everything off on the guitar bus here. And everything off on the guitar tracks as well. I'm even going to shut that tone off for you, and I'm just going to solo that bus for you. So what I have going on here is both my guitar tracks here, bang and bang. You'll see go to bus 5, which is over here, bus 5, my guitar bus, right? So that wasn't even panned to the left when you heard it for the first time, so that's cool. It'll sound even better later now. Totally fudged it. So basically what I have here is just here, I'll pan that back now. Yeah, so real easy. I did some guitar DI, man. This isn't, I didn't mic a cab or anything for this. Like I said, it's the first run through of a mix fix, so I'm just testing it out, man, testing the waters. So here's what I got for a guitar tone, just DI. This is what's recorded in my computer. Sorry, let me mute the lead. Not that I needed to, because it's boring as shit anyways. So with that, I multi-tracked these guitars. I recorded them back to back so I could do, pan them left and right. Good start to get your guitar sounding huge. And I just start, with an amp sim, man. This one is the STL tonality. Now this is the Will Putney pack. You might know Will Putney he plays guitar in Fit for an Autopsy, killer band. But he also does some production for Fit for an Autopsy and a few other like a bunch of bands you've heard of. But a lot of, like Acacia Strain, Thy Art is Murder, kind of those bands, some low tune 7-string stuff, which is what we play in the band, right? So it just sort of made sense to buy his tone. Yeah, man, some of the other amp sims just, some of the cheap ones or whatever, or the free ones even, just the low end isn't really that good for low tune stuff. So I always gravitate towards this one. It sounds pretty good. So I'll just turn that on both of those rhythm tracks, and then we can just hear sort of the raw tone. It's just a preset, that I've made or whatever and tweaked for the mix. I'll probably do another mix fix, or maybe it'll be a tone zone or something on that STL plugin, because you can go way in depth with it, and whole nother video. So here is the guitar tone. Not bad at all. So what I usually do from there is I will take one of these, I'll unsolo that bus, and I'll just start with, say, guitar left. And I'll put that just up the middle, straight down the barrel, and just focus on, you know, one track at a time. So you'll see below on my guitar track here, I have an EQ, right? And not a whole lot happening on the EQ. I basically have a little scoop at 1260, which, you know, is usually where guitars bite, and there's a lot of guitar brightness in there, but you'll see why I have it scooped lower later if you stay tuned to the end of the video. Nah, man, maybe not the end. Later. And I already have 2500 hertz pulled out. That was a weird tongue movement. Just, you know, it's sort of a lot of whistle. So what I'll do is I'll play this chunk. As I play this, I'll click the EQ from off to on. The little power button will turn blue to indicate it's on. You know, I'll just go to each one and I'll pull the gain up so you can kind of hear what I'm pulling out. And yeah, we'll do that. So you'll see that 2500 hertz there is just static. You know, it sounds like a whistle. It's just inaudible. You don't even hear any notes coming through that. You know, it's just sort of painful to the ear. So we'll pull that out. And, you know, that's all I really do on the guitar track. You better believe on the next one I'm going to do sort of the same thing. Yep, 25, 1260 again. I'll just turn that on. And now here's our guitars EQ'd, pan left and right. And I'm just going to highlight both of these tracks, or all three of these, I guess, and I'll click the EQ off and on so you can kind of hear what it's doing on both of the guitar tracks. Definitely just cleans them up a little bit, you know, gets rid of some of that hiss like we were talking about, and that's, you know, that's what it's all about. So then from there, you'll see I have down here, you know, I'm sending these to a bus 5 over here. Bang. Yeah, so first thing you'll see I have a couple EQs stacked on top of each other. Now, when I was doing this mix, you know, these are just the stock Logic EQs. I don't know if I said that already, but there's only so much you can do on them, right? You only have 4 of these that you can pull down, right? I've since bought like an Infinity EQ. There's probably a few out there, but you can, you know, add as many as you like. So that would, you know, eventually save you some EQs, but, you know, you see 3 EQs on the thing, you know, it's kind of overkill, but it all has a purpose, and I'll show you why. So yeah, first starting with this EQ, you'll see I have 220 hertz pulled out, 2300 hertz. So I have 2500 hertz pulled out over here on the guitar tracks, and now I'm pulling out 23 over here right beside it. I mean, whatever, man. You'll see. I'll play this, I'll turn this EQ on, and then I'll go through each one and ride the gain up so that you can see, or so that you can hear rather everything or whatever I'm pulling out of the guitars. 4K, you know, is always a rough area, so it's good to kind of clean that area up. And 5200, yeah. So I'll play it, I'll turn the EQ on, and I'll go through all those for you. All right, that riff is pretty repetitive. Yeah, so you could see here in the 220, it was kind of woofy stuff. You know, you share that with the snare, right? So, you know, it's best to clean that up to help that snare pop in the mix. 2300, more hiss, more just whatever. I got a pretty wide Q on that. You know, yeah, for 1040 hertz, whatever. That was the sweet spot. And 5200, yeah, was kind of that saturated sizzle, but it was just a little, I don't know, I felt like pulling a bit of it out. And then I do have that shelf up there at, 31 somewhere, just to, add a little bit of that brightness in, since we're kind of pulling a bit out. I think that sounds good. And then after that, here's another EQ, man. So it looks like I got some more low stuff pulled out. 1620, I guess I had to pull that one out, and 2200. And it looks like now I'm kind of taming my low end, and I'm shrinking in on that kind of spacey sound to leave room for like cymbals and stuff, right? So same thing. I'll click this on. I'll play it. I'll click this on, and I'll go through, and shut off and whatever, so you can hear kind of what everything's doing. Yeah, so definitely taming that in a little bit there. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find a new chunk of song for us to listen to, because I am bored of that riff. Let's go over here. What do we got? We'll go back to that, because there's some lead stuff over top. Maybe I'll show you guys this sort of atrocious solo I laid down very quickly for this. Very quickly, as you can see all the edits I had to do. And whatever. Then we can work on lead stuff. I think I want to just get some chuggy chug riffs happening here. What's this sound like? That sounds like a nice riff we can work with. Okay, mix window, what's up? Here we go. Yeah, so we got a couple EQs on there, and then next you'll see I have a tube EQ pulled up here. Now this is just, again, another tube EQ, stock in Logic. And this is an old Andy Sneap trick, I think. If you want, good sounding guitars, basically check out anything Andy Sneap has done, man. He's kind of the guy. He's kind of the go-to guy. So this is one of his old tricks that, it's good. I like to do it. I think it makes the guitar sound sick. And what you basically do is you set your low frequency here to about 30 hertz. And then I don't have it set, but you set these to like 666, right? Your low boost, your low attention, and your high boost. You leave your high bandwidth where it is, but your high frequency, you dime that up to 16,000 there. Leave the high attention. This I also leave. You open it up. The output is set for 4, so we'll leave that there. You want the silky, the tubes, right? So I'll just play this little chunk of riff, and I'll turn this on. You'll see I just tamed the low end a little bit more and gave it a little more high than what they, the starting point, but whatever, that's what you do, right? You massage it into place. So let's hear what this tube EQ does. So it definitely makes them sound scooped without actually scooping any mids, right? So you're kind of doing this boost at 30 hertz, man, where like you're not going to hear a lot of guitar, you're not going to hear a lot of 30 hertz in a guitar, right? So it's weird. And then you're adding, such a high frequency too, that it's sort of, shaping your guitar like your low and high, giving you that scooped, when you're playing guitar in your room or whatever, and you scoop the mids right out of your amp, at first it's so satisfying, but then, you can't hear anything you're playing. It's just chuggy low, which is still cool, but, you want some mid. So this is sort of doing that without losing mid. I don't know. It's cool, man. It's magic. It's science. It's whatever you want to call it. It's fucking sounding badass is what I call it. After that tube EQ, I go to a multipressor. So this is just a multi-band compressor. Again, this one is stock and Logic. Let me turn that on. Whatever, I'll turn that on for you guys, and then I'll kind of get into what it's doing. It's another Andy Sneap thing, I think, as well. So if you might already know this stuff. If you do, whatever. I guess thanks for, checking it out. Thanks for checking it out again. All right, so here's what we got. So yeah, you will see the main thing you really want to worry about is, I have it as band 2 here. You really only need like a 3-band compressor, right? I don't know why this opens up as a 4, whatever, I'll use it. So I make sure I turn my look ahead and auto gain and make sure all that shit's off. And I really want to focus on my number 2 here, right? The second bandwidth here. Now, you'll see I have it set between 57 hertz and 310. If I go solo that and listen to that, you'll hear it's really compressing on like the chug notes, which again is what you want, man. You want to tame that low end in the guitar, because it's not very satisfying, man. And honestly, the bass guitar is going to, make up all that low end anyways. So on those chugs, man, when you got that low bass and you got that kick drum and everything all fighting for that low end, that's a good way to keep your guitars from being muddy and sounding muddy, is to kind of just tame that just with a compressor, or just with this multi-band compressor, and really sort of just, find that chug, just find that chug area, man. It's usually like between 50, 380 kind of, depending on, whatever, right? And yeah, just, that helps keep things cleared up for sure. I do the same thing, 50 and lower, I bite that down a little bit harder on that. Actually, I wonder what would happen if I, didn't bite down on that, but bit down on the other one. Let's hear. So yeah, actually, I just have that biting down a little bit less than the other one. Band 3, that's sort of a tone thing. I have it boosted, and I have that threshold set. You'll see, sometimes it'll move, and same with this high end too. I just bite into them enough for just that to move. I don't know why. I can't just leave it alone, but I have to for some reason. Yeah, so just watch that. Yeah, man, just that sounds good, It just helps tighten up those chugs and everything. So yeah, once you get the bass in the mix and everything, it just helps clear that up. So I'll show you that. Yeah, I'll unsolo this. I'll play it with the bass and in the full mix with the drums and everything. I'll shut it off and on, and we'll see if if it cleans up any muddiness or whatever, right? It's all in the chug, like in the palm muting is what we're looking for. Sounds good, man. I think that does clean it up a little bit. Yeah, and it helps the guitars, you can sort of shape the tone a little bit, so it helps the guitar stand out a bit. Lastly, I have another EQ on, and it looks like I'm pulling out 500 a little bit for some reason. We probably won't even notice a difference, but let's hear it. It definitely adds some shape to the guitar, so I'll leave it. But yeah, that's basically what I end up doing on the guitar bus, you know. Making that generally, right? A lot of those are all stock plugins that I used, other than the STL tone, but all the EQs and everything, you know. And yeah, that's sort of it. If I wanted to get crazy, if I was having trouble, I'm not having too much trouble with the snare in this mix, but you could always throw a compressor on the guitar bus, side chain to your snare input, or however you would say that, side chain the input to your snare track or whatever, so that every time your snare hits, it compresses the guitar volume just a bit, right? Just to pull it down, you know, set your attack and release just right so that it helps, you know. It would help the, let's try it. Let's just go for some right now. Do I have any snare in this little chunk here? I certainly do have a snare, and it is pumping. So it is a fake ass snare. Yeah, let's try side chaining here. So I'm going to bring up a compressor. Here we go. Here's the compressor. I'll just use this one. Side chain. Let's make it bus 2. Will be my snare, right? Bus 2. So it's whatever. This ends up being my snare track, right? Bus 2. So now every time the snare hits, it is the input, so it should make the needle jump. Oh, Scully farted. So I would say maybe my release is a little long on that, but that's not bad, right? That's pulling those guitars down. Oh, I have auto turned on. That's pulling the guitars down just at each snare hit and letting go of them. You know, you work that in so you don't really notice it too much. Let's try. Yeah, that's let's hear that in solo. Yeah, I think that sounds good. You know, that's really helping that snare pop, and it's adding a little bit of life to the guitars, you know, a little bit of bounce or whatever. So here I have opened my Slate Digital virtual mix rack. It's a little bit overkill, man, but I figured, hey, we're doing a video. Let's just see what it sounds like. They got some killer presets in here. There's 2 for the electric guitar. And yeah, maybe I'll turn one on. Here, let's solo this guitar. Solo that guitar bus. Let's go guitar electric 1 here, and I'm just going to pull that makeup down to 0, and let's just hear it off, and we'll turn it on and just hear what it does. Oh yeah, okay, that makes them brighter, eh? Let's I think I'll start with the guitar 2 here, and let's just play with that a little bit and see what we can get. actually sounds pretty killer. I'm going to leave that. Okay, but look at that. Hoo-wee. That's a guitar bus, man. But hey, dude, you can just, you can leave it and it sounds good, or you can, go overkill with it and it'll still sound good, man. What else? There was something else I was going to do. I can't remember. Oh, yeah, sorry. Let's go back and let's hear some lead stuff, man. So on my lead, let me get a better chunk. Right. So, on my lead guitar track, remember how I said on our rhythm guitars, stay tuned to see why I'm pulling 1260 out of those guitars? It's because on my lead guitar track, I will do a boost there at 1260. So basically what you're doing is, you're dragging an EQ across, basically what you're doing is you're going to open an EQ. Hold on a sec, man. Words and other stuff. Oh, I totally just lost my train, bro. Shit, what the fuck? Oh, yeah. So basically what you're going to do, man, is you're going to throw an EQ on it. And then just kind of find where that lead, man. Find where it's like bitey, where it really like shines or whatever, right? And then, boost it a little bit on your lead, but then go to your rhythms and pull it out, right? Kind of makes sense. It helps separate, your guitar, your lead from your rhythm. It just helps it, man. It just helps clean things up. So what if I shut those EQs off? And I got the lead in there too. And, what if I played this little bit of lead over top of the rhythms, and I'll just shut those EQs off. And then you'll be able to hear sort of a separation in the, between the rhythm. So then you'll sort of hear like a separation between the, the rhythm and the lead tracks here. So let's give that a try. Hey, right. And then, also on my lead track, I have this isn't free. This, I don't know if it's free or not, but it's not stock in Logic. It's from the kilohertz bundle or whatever. It came with my Slate stuff, and it's a comb filter. So basically, you'll hear what that does, immediately. So it definitely makes the guitar solo sound bigger and wider. It seems to even in my STL here, if I open it up real quick, I go to my pedals, I do have a delay and a reverb happening, and that comb filter seems to be taking even that frequency and just spreading that around, it seems. Really helps it sit on top of those rhythms there. Sit on top. Really helps that lead sit in front of those rhythms there, right? Yeah, I mean, that's how I would do some metal guitars, I'd say we went a little overkill, man, but it sounds good. Thanks for watching. I guess thanks for hanging out, and stay tuned for the next one maybe. Who knows? See you guys.